Geez, I nearly sliced my finger off, Mom. She panics, and he's just like, chill, hold the cereal. Relying on his mom's spoiling love. The boy's prank succeeds once again. He turns and walks away with zero regret, completely missing the teary, reluctant look in her eyes behind him. A few days ago, Kathy was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Standing in front of that grim X-ray light board, she fell silent for a very long time. Thinking back on her marriage. Her husband drinks and plays video games all day. Her son skips school, throws clothes everywhere, and forgets to flush his crap. She always tolerated their bad habits, bearing the weight of the entire family alone. And the price she paid was losing her edge and the spark in her eyes. Now that her life has a countdown, she decides, no more patience. No more settling. She's gonna flip the script in the time she has left. And live out her true self. Kathy refuses treatment and hides it from everyone. To force her husband to reflect and grow up, she ruthlessly kicks him out of the house, leaving only one explanation. I haven't had an onion in 15 years because you say they're stinky poo-poo. And just like that, a massive fight breaks out. From Paul's perspective, his own wife should just be home organizing clothes, cleaning up. Even if he gets drunk and spills cocktails on the sofa, she should be the perfect, complaining-free wife. He can't figure out why his wife suddenly became so unreasonable. Kathy always had a dream, building a swimming pool in the yard. She gets workers to start digging immediately. But a complaint call from a neighbor pours cold water on all her fantasies. Full of anger, she storms into the neighbor's house demanding an explanation. You have never said hello to me. You have never smiled even a little. And I really wanted to teach my son the banana split dive. Split and dive. Because I don't have a lot of time. Summers in Minneapolis are very short. They're here. And then it's over. It's just over. Can I tell you how mad that makes me? Kathy is emotional. Nothing is going right. She feels like the whole world is against her. But stepping out the door, she sees her husband in the distance. He's holding an onion, and takes a huge bite out of it. In this moment, Kathy is too choked up to speak. She realizes even if he's unmotivated, he still loves her. Maybe she should confess everything to him. But a phone call from the hospital makes their relationship tense again. Seriously, you won't believe this next part. Anyway, call me. Who's that? I've been meaning to talk to you about something. Are you fucking kidding me? So this is why you need your space. Well, you are not boring anymore, Catherine. How can you do this to me? Kathy doesn't argue back. She just turns with a tearful smile. Only when the door slams shut does she show her disappointment. That day, Adam opens the door and sees his mom lying in a red bathtub. Terrified, he rushes downstairs, grabbing the phone to call for help. But he looks up and Mom is suddenly alive. Why aren't you laughing? No way. No way, you suck. Someday I am gonna be dead. And as a courtesy to the world, I don't want to leave them a guy who doesn't know how to get his shit to flush. And let me be clear. Your dad isn't living here because I only wanted to raise one kid and I chose you. And from now on, I'm gonna raise you so hard your head's gonna spin. Kathy shoves her son into the bathroom, dumps sticky leftover food into the toilet, hands him a plunger, and locks the door. Dropping her usual gentle image, she hopes this tough love will teach him independence. She cranks up the music volume, drowning out his cries for help. Then, copying her husband, she spills red wine all over the sofa. She flips the cushion over like nothing happened. Doing this, she feels surprisingly happy. And totally free. Late at night, Kathy moves the sofa to the unfinished pool hole. Her only company is the neighbor's old dog. She doesn't know why this dog suddenly clings to her, but hey, at least she's not totally lonely. Next morning, Kathy picks up all of Adam's scattered clothes and throws them out along with the sofa. Adam is furious about this. He calls his mom a lunatic and bans her from his parent-teacher meeting. Kathy doesn't care. She just yells at his retreating back, "I love you, Adam." While he's gone, Kathy cashes out her pension to buy a sports car she always wanted but thought was impractical. She wants to feel the joy of impulse spending, to hear the wind of freedom. Problem is, she can't drive stick. So all she hears is angry honking behind her. Dinner with the doctor, she still chooses a place with. Cheap parking out of habit. Chatting, Kathy sees a lobster in a tank, struggling to even turn over. It reminds her of herself. Isn't she also trapped by fate, unable to break free like this lobster? So she calls the waiter, offering a high price to buy it alive. "I'm sorry, but I'm not allowed to sell the lobsters live." Kathy raises the price, but gets rejected again. Seeing the waiter hesitate, she knows he won't budge. So after paying the bill, she grabs the lobster and runs out the door. By the time the waiter chases, they are long gone. The car stops in front of a luxury villa. Kathy pretends to be the doctor's girlfriend to view the house. By the window, she stares at the clear swimming pool in the yard. A memory hits her, back when she used to spend hours floating on the water, imagining she was weightless. Like time had stopped. That would be nice with me. For time to stand still. The doctor stays silent. Silence is the best comfort right now. By the pool, Kathy puts the lobster in the water. Seeing it swim energetically, a smile spreads on her face. Just like this lobster, she finds a glimmer of light in the darkness of her terminal illness. The doctor watches all this. Spending time together, they become friends. He feels guilty he can't cure her. "I shouldn't have more of a future than you. But I do have a future, his name's Adam." That evening, she drives into a secluded garage. Kathy gets out, placing a card on a gift. It says, "Happy 18th birthday, Adam." Thinking about it, she changes 18 to 30. As a mother, Kathy hopes he receives this gift from the past, when he's mature enough and has enough life experience to understand it. Cold rain starts pouring down. Kathy looks up and smiles. Then, facing the storm, she swings her bag and strides forward boldly. The next day, her husband confronts her, asking who the male doctor on the phone was. Kathy just says it's a call from dermatology. She's lost the urge to confess to him. Watching her husband leave a cabinet door open again, Kathy says this is the reason. She spends endless hours closing cabinets and organizing Adam's scattered clothes. Because of this, she lost her real self and her life. And now, she wants all that lost time back. Paul puts down his glass, confused. He thinks she's losing her mind. He doesn't know that for Kathy right now, time is the most precious thing. That evening, Kathy closes the cabinets one by one. She notices the wall calendar and remembers, Adam is leaving for 6 weeks to a soccer summer camp. Watching her son, who also leaves doors open, Kathy smiles helplessly. But deep down, she can't bear to let him go. So she tells him he's not allowed to go to camp. "My what?" "No, I'm sorry. It's too long. I have a very short window to work with." "That window hasn't shut already?" Blinded by anger, Adam doesn't understand the deeper meaning. He looks at his mom with disgust, accusing her of being crazy. "I'm sick of you ruining everything." Geez. To make him happy, Kathy buys the paintball gun he liked. Even with her life ending, she keeps smiling, hoping to fix their relationship. "I'd rather shoot myself in the head." Running around the yard, playing with my mom. Kathy stands frozen. She knows time flies. And her son isn't that little kid anymore. Feeling disappointed, but she forces a smile. She changes the calendar from Adam away to Adam home. Then she takes her bedding and quietly opens his door to sleep on the floor. In the dim light, her face shows contentment and peace. Kathy's huge personality shift makes her husband feel estranged and annoys her son. The only one not weirded out is her homeless brother, Sean. "Oh well, you don't get your weird back?" says you. You have no idea. Whenever she's upset, Kathy finds Sean to vent. On one hand, as her blood brother, he always makes her feel relaxed and happy. On the other hand, Kathy wants to fulfill her duty as a sister. Because Sean is a total weirdo. He lives on the streets, hanging out in trees or wearing plastic bags around his neck. In public to preach environmental protection. Saving resources. Even when Kathy drags him to a restaurant. He only eats other people's leftovers. He treats money like dirt. To keep him from starving or freezing. Kathy often brings him food and clothes, lying that these are things she was planning to throw away. But this sloppy, lazy man, who seems to care about nothing, sees right through his sister's troubles. He confronts Paul about it. You fucked up your marriage, your life. You turned my vibrant, quirky sister into a miserable, dull, lifeless zombie. You're a half-ass husband, a poor excuse for a father, a shitty. The next day, Paul comes home and packs all his clothes. Full of resentment, he doesn't say a word. And rides off on his bike. Kathy watches him leave from a distance, feeling helpless and heartbroken. The only one feeling for her is the whining dog by her side. 4 days. This dog keeps sticking to her. Kathy doesn't know why, so she keeps returning it to the neighbor. Maybe because of this, the neighbor softens up. She finds Kathy and promises to stop complaining about the pool. They open up to each other and shake hands. If you're ready to go, did you ever think about just going? Think about it all the time. But I just keep waking up. In the garage, Kathy digs out the dusty tandem bike. She calls Adam. Jumping around like a kid, talking about that summer when they rode this bike to buy ice cream. She hopes he'll ride with her one more time. No way, I can't ride it myself. Well, then you shouldn't get Dad out of the house. Because you're high. If you think I'm riding that with you, I'd rather die. Rejected again. Kathy goes to her brother, but Sean refuses too. Everyone she loves is around. But she can't find one person to ride a bike with her. No one sees the sadness behind her playful middle finger. The next morning, sleeping Kathy feels a tickle on her foot. She wakes up to see the dog back again. She's about to return it, but sees Paul walking up with flowers. He still doesn't get why they are fighting, but he knows he can't lose her. He deeply loves Kathy despite being a slacker. It's done. Hearing him ask to move back in, Kathy uses the excuse of returning the dog to dodge him. To liven up the quiet house, Kathy invites Sean and one of her students for dinner. Surprisingly, her messy brother got himself a girlfriend. At the table, Sean kicks a stool, almost tripping Kathy. They play fight, clearing the gloomy atmosphere. But when they sit down, watching them chat happily, Kathy feels like an outsider. Under the table, the dog has returned to her feet. When leaving, Kathy gives the bike to her brother. She closes the door and peeks through the window. Through the leaves, that summer memory replays vividly. That day Kathy came home to find a colorful seashell path leading into the living room. In the living room, Paul is sitting barefoot on a fake beach. Seeing Kathy, he kneels on one knee, confessing his love just like in the past. You put up your posters really neatly with your staple gun. And I love the way you laughed when you realized they were upside down. I loved that underneath. That shell of a curmudgeon lay the heart of a girl who loved to dance and fling. Tears blur her vision. Touched by her husband's effort. Kathy feels moved and soft. But she is no longer that girl. She wants her husband to change. Not just be this man-child who fills the room with sand without thinking about who has to clean it up. No, you used to love the guy who did silly shit like this. You married the guy who did silly shit like this. I know things have changed for me. They part unhappily again. Kathy prepares to leave for a while, but accidentally bumps the dog while reversing. At the hospital, Kathy is full of guilt, apologizing to Marlene. But Marlene asks, what kind of cancer is it? What? Oh no, he doesn't have cancer, no. What kind of cancer do you have? Kathy's face freezes. Turns out Marlene's husband died of cancer. And this dog stayed by his side just like this for months. Marlene becomes the first person close to Kathy to know the truth. And for Kathy, she finally has someone to talk to. From then on, they become closer, becoming unlikely best friends. And this seemingly mean, lonely old neighbor actually has a warmer heart than anyone. She gives her husband's cherished suit to Sean. And once, when Adam was caught stealing a game console, Marlene intercepts the police before they call his parents. She pays Adam to clean her yard that doesn't really need cleaning. She knows Kathy's stress and pain, and understands the courage needed to face death. She just wants to share the burden. One day Kathy excitedly finds her son, inviting him to the annual bathtub race. Adam initially refuses, but agrees when he hears Dad is participating. This excites Kathy. She starts preparing immediately. The family reunites quickly. They tacitly put aside unhappiness, laughing and talking. Time seems to rewind, where the plot twists get romantic, to their happiest days. No illness, no barriers. Until sunset, Kathy finds Marlene earlier at the hospital. Kathy found a lump on her body. She needs surgery. She asks Marlene to pick her up. After the surgery, Marlene agrees, but advises Kathy that paper can't wrap fire. She should try telling her family. I'm not ready to tell them yet. Take your time and might get out of it completely. Race day. Kathy invites her brother and Marlene to watch. To capture this fleeting happiness, she asks Marlene to take a photo. The family poses together nicely. But when the shutter clicks, the photo turns out like this. Great, seems like you've got a decent family to me. I'm sure they can handle anything you throw at. Kathy appreciates Marlene's kindness, but changes the subject. Today is a happy day. She doesn't want to spoil it. The starting gun fires, applause thunders. Paul doesn't disappoint, taking first place. But at the celebration party, Paul and Kathy fight again. Adam sees everything, knowing his dad still can't come home. He storms off angrily. My mom used to be just a regular crazy mom. Now she's a total bats hit clinical crazy mom. In the hospital, Kathy wakes up after surgery. She doesn't see Marlene. Nobody answers her calls. She thinks Marlene forgot, unaware that Marlene is currently lost, staring blankly at a slipper in her fridge. In the following days, Marlene changes Kathy's dressing daily as an apology. Kathy doesn't mind. What concerns her more is this painfully lonely old lady. Actually has 2 daughters. But being neighbors for years, she's never seen them. This makes Kathy think of her father she hasn't seen in a year. So the next day, she drags her brother on a road trip home. Kathy calls her husband, asking him to watch Adam, who is home alone. Paul agrees, but immediately starts gaming with his son. The tidy living room becomes a mess again. Passing by, Marlene frowns. She can't imagine how much Kathy sacrificed for this family. Wake up with a blush. I don't care if you're living here or on the moon. Being a father is not a part-time job. You can't quit every time you feel like tying one on. Take care of it. With Sean along, the trip is much less boring. Even though he plays pranks and drives off the car she used for cover while peeing, Kathy knows this seemingly messy, scumbag brother is actually more sincere and caring than anyone. Like this trip, if he wasn't worried about her driving long distance, he would never return to that home. The door opens. Father gives a polite welcome, then sits back on the sofa to watch his game. He answers his daughter's concerns perfunctorily. How's that knee? Get that guy out of there. Kathy is disappointed. Family conflict. Illness pain, it's suffocating her. She hoped for some comfort here. But her father only gives coldness and blame. Looking at the dusty jar in the corner, remembering when Mom was sick. Father was just as indifferent. She thought he might have changed, but the truth is, as a father, he even gets his daughter's age wrong. I came here to tell you something. And here it is. I love you. And you're an asshole. Late at night. Kathy and Sean go to the river, pouring all the ashes into the water. She hopes her mother flows downstream, reaching New Orleans, a place she dreamed of but never visited. Under the moonlight, Kathy is silent for a long time, then turns to her brother, speaking the words she's buried deep. "I have cancer." Sean initially doesn't believe it, thinking she's joking. But her wet eyes and serious tone wipe the smile off his face. And when Kathy blurts out, "I'm dying," Sean's world goes dead silent, followed by a deafening ringing in his ears. After a long time, he turns, pretending to be casual. "Well, people die. You know it's a guarantee. Means something is going to get you now. You know what it is, me, I'm in the dark. But people die. That's the way it works, people, you're gonna die. And it's gonna suck. Because I was just starting to figure you out this. You know I was just starting to understand that you're the only thing I have in this world." The sudden bad news breaks down this man's defenses. Seeing his reaction, Kathy regrets saying it. She gathers herself, jumps on his back and laughs loudly. When Sean turns around, he sees her smug face, realizing he was tricked. "Seriously, you won't believe this next part." Sean isn't mad, just relieved. He doesn't know. "You know what I mean? Major swoon alert. Grab your tissues, people." This time his sister truly lied. Kathy comes home that day and gets startled by a surprise. It's her birthday. Her husband invited a bunch of people to celebrate. He wants to fix their relationship. In front of everyone, Paul pours his heart out. He thanks his wife for coming into the world and coming to him. He knows beneath her occasional grumpiness lies a soft, warm heart, whom this big tourist bull has been lucky to love, and will continue to, for the rest of our long lives. Hearing long lives, Kathy zones out, looking at the husband she loves and hates. She wishes time could freeze right now. Friends gathered together, making the party lively. Kathy has fun too. But later, she mentions her true happiness disappeared 20 years ago. Paul's face turns ugly instantly. They've known each other for exactly 20 years. Actually, the happiness Kathy meant was her carefree college days without worries. So after the party, their recovering relationship drops back to freezing point. "So it was our house, so it was our dream house. But I guess I'm only one dreaming. Because it's all a big fucking nightmare for you. You know what, you should have moved out." Paul takes a fork and pops the balloons one by one. Kathy stays silent, letting him vent his anger. When life has a countdown, everything becomes a race against time. Kathy starts teaching Adam to drive. Paul rides up on a scooter, seemingly passing by, but really to tell her he got a promotion. Kathy is genuinely happy for him, but hesitates to ask if she can come to the celebration dinner. Stubborn Paul refuses. He gets drunk at the restaurant, can't reach Kathy. So he calls Adam. He makes his inexperienced son drive. And of course, they crash. Kathy rushes to the hospital. Hearing her son got 7 stitches, they have another huge fight. Paul feels guilty about the accident, but the relationship tug-of-war and her ignored calls make him feel helpless and exhausted. Watching her son in the hospital bed, Kathy is heartbroken. She starts doubting if hiding her illness was a mistake. She gathers courage and finds Paul in the lobby. "Paul, I want a divorce." When life gets tough, people seek spiritual comfort. Kathy is no exception. "If there is a God, do you think he could bring me some sense of peace? He's not a miracle worker." "Well, I think God needs his problem, so we can learn to deal with him, not so you can fix him." Next day Kathy goes to church. Having no faith before, for the first time she wants to believe in the beauty the priest describes. Seriously, you won't believe this next part. Seeing strangers bravely sharing secrets, Kathy is inspired. She stands up and pours out the lies, pain, and struggles buried in her heart. There's some stuff that I can control, and then there's this other stuff that's it's killing me too. Pray for me that there's gonna be someone on the other side who's gonna leave the light on for me. When I get there, that someone's gonna be there to welcome me. After saying this, Kathy feels a lightness she's never felt before. Like a dark, closed valley suddenly opened up. Fresh wind blows in, refreshing her soul. This experience helps Kathy make up her mind. No more hiding her illness. She finds Paul. Amidst his sarcastic remarks, she smiles and whispers the 3 words, "I have cancer." The smile freezes on his face. Paul's world goes deadly silent. The next day, sleepless Paul grabs clippers. Eyes determined. He's ready to shave his head for her. Luckily, Kathy quickly explains she's not doing chemo, stopping him just in time. But then, realizing what happened, Paul trembles. The care he couldn't say in time turns into anxious blame. "But now you kept me in the dark all this time. And now you're 3 months sicker." At the barbershop, Paul pretends to be cool, laughing with the barber about cancer treatments, acting like it's fine. But when alone, he secretly wipes away tears. Until his son arrives. He immediately changes face, putting on a happy mask. Hearing Adam chatter, constantly complaining about his mom, Paul frowns. Mixed feelings inside. For the first time he gets stern with Adam, kicking him out of the car, driving off alone. After the truth is out, Paul completely changes. Quitting bad habits, taking on all housework. He sticks beautiful pictures on the ceiling, hoping that Kathy regains hope for life. She accepts treatment. Kathy sees everything, feeling genuinely happy. Facing death, for the first time she has courage and faith. For her husband, for herself, and for her son, she wants to fight fate. Watching her son smiling at his phone, Kathy knows he's in love. She can even imagine how handsome he'll look in a groom's suit. Sadly, she might miss that moment. So she takes Adam's forgotten phone and records a heartfelt message for her future daughter-in-law. A quick peek into the heart-melting moment. He's sweet. And he's kind of shy. It takes him a while to talk about what he's feeling and what he's thinking, so help him know. And don't make him feel bad if he doesn't make as much money as you, or if he is the one at dinner parties that makes everyone laugh. And don't you dare break his heart. Before she finishes, Adam rushes back in. He grabs the phone and leaves without suspicion, not seeing the tear sliding down his mom's face. That night, Kathy prepares to sleep, but sees Marlene searching for something in the bushes. She goes to ask, finding Marlene acting strangely. "Who are you?" Like a hand grabbing her heart, Kathy feels a sharp pain. This lonely old lady who always comforted her has her own secret too hard to speak. And Kathy didn't know. Marlene is full of holes herself, yet she tried to patch up others with optimism. Looking at Marlene's wrinkled face, Kathy is grateful to have met her. She hopes the maze of memory is kind enough to give this pitiful old woman a few more lucid moments. But things get worse. Marlene's condition deteriorates. One day, looking wary and strange, she points a gun at Adam, who is working. Realizing it later, Marlene is guilt-ridden. With tears in her eyes, she apologizes to Paul. This kind old lady already considers Kathy's family as her own. How can she forgive herself for hurting them? She leaves a farewell letter for Kathy. With a gunshot, she quietly ends her lonely life. In that letter, she worries most about Kathy. She encourages Kathy to live in the moment, cherish her family, and sincerely apologizes to Adam. Tears blur Kathy's vision. She knows she'll never hear that familiar nagging again. Don't screw up what you have left. Go places, buy crap you want. Don't be afraid. When it's really your time to go, I'll be waiting for you. Marlene leaves her only house and dog to Kathy. The dog that used to follow Kathy everywhere now refuses to leave Marlene's home. After the funeral, Kathy tries to comfort her son, but finds Adam completely numb to death. There's not a trace of sadness on his face. Kathy is puzzled at first. Until watching a sad movie together, Kathy and Paul are moved to tears, but Adam stays calm as water. Kathy finally realizes this son she spoiled since childhood doesn't have a clear concept of death. Maybe blessed by Marlene in heaven, Kathy gets a rare spot in a clinical trial. Even though hope is slim and risks are high, her family relationships and life status are exactly what she wants now. She wants to grab this chance. I'm gonna hang on as long as I can. And I'm going out ugly. It will never be hard for me to look at you. Kathy knows once she starts treatment, she can't hide it from Adam. So that night she pretends to be relaxed, telling him about her illness with a smile. She lies that she'll fully recover after treatment. Throughout it all, Kathy carefully watches Adam's reaction. Luckily, just as she expected, he doesn't understand what death truly means. He's not sad, he doesn't cry. The pool construction, stopped before treatment, finally gets permission to restart. Kathy sits in the yard, staring. It's already autumn. She wonders if next summer, she'll be here to see it. In the hospital, Paul stays by her side. They don't speak, just smiling at each other. After Kathy falls asleep, Adam, alone at home, notices a wallet in the corner. He opens it and finds an envelope. It says, "Don't open until we leave." Out of curiosity, Adam opens it and finds a key inside. Following the address, he rides his bike to the garage unit. Opening the door, he sees countless gifts, big and small, and a photo of him and Mom in the center. Confused, Adam walks forward, realizing these are gifts for him. They just lie there quietly, waiting for their future purpose. Only then does Adam finally understand the concept of death clearly. It's not just a simple word. It is the bone-deep pain of missing someone. And goodbye forever. In the hospital, Kathy is still sleeping. In a daze, she feels like she's in another world. No pain here, no worries. The backyard pool is finished. Marlene is dancing on the shore, as if welcoming Kathy's arrival. They smile at each other. In the warm sun, everything feels like a rebirth. This show is called The Big C. The title highlights life's uncertainty. Just like in real life, accidents and illness descend without warning, shattering peaceful lives. At this moment, tomorrow is no longer just a routine, but a precious gift full of unknowns. Some choose to stay in a stupor, waiting for death. Others, like Kathy, bravely start a journey to find themselves, using love and passion in limited time to expand the width of life. Like Marlene said, God doesn't create miracles to give us problems, but for us to learn to deal with them. When first diagnosed, Kathy chose to hide it. She didn't expect that one lie requires countless others to cover up. Her husband becoming a stranger, her son drifting away, makes Kathy wonder if her choice was a mistake. Encouraged by Marlene, she finds courage in church. Seriously, you won't believe this next part, and confesses to her husband. Surprisingly, after being honest, that drunk, indifferent man-child husband dropped all his bad habits overnight.